All right, the Tale of the Princess Kaguya, from the creators of The Spirit Away and The Wind Rises. Um, it has a really strong cast of voice actors and actresses. Among them, I recognize Lucy Liu. I believe John Cho is also there, and a few other ones that I recognize. Darren Quirrell, Mary Steenburgen, James Caan, Chloe Grace Moretz. I don't know those characters as well, but voice acting was pretty good for the most part. Stories PG for thematic elements, some violent, and partial nudity. Very partial, but definitely some parts. The beginning when they were kids and um, kind of like swimming in the pool, but not much. All right. Gorgeous and Magical, according to Michael Sullivan of Washington Post, a staggering masterpiece. Glenn Kenny from Roger Ebert. I agree for the most part that the movie was definitely very different. It felt like a portrait for the most part, the way that it was drawn and the way it was told. It was a very classical tale, that kind of vibe. Um, from the beginning, you can kind of tell it's going to be an interesting story. Um, so the description is as follows. From Studio Ghibli, the studio that brought you the Academy Award winning Spirit Away, My Neighbor Totoro, and The Wind Rises, which is another movie I definitely want to watch. I believe I do have that one. Maybe I should check that one next. Comes a powerful and sweeping epic that redefines animated storytelling and marks a triumphant high point with an extraordinary filmmaking career for director Isao Takahata. Found inside a shining stalk of bamboo by an old bamboo cutter and his wife, a tiny girl grows rapidly into an exquisite young lady. The mysterious young princess enthralls all who encounters her, but ultimately she must confront her fate, the punishment for her crime. Voiced by Chloe Grace Moretz, James Caan, and Mary Steenburgen. So overall, the story was fun to watch. I enjoy um, just the premise that happiness cannot be bought with just like the biggest houses, material stuff. Essentially, at the end, she wanted to come home. She wanted to be with the boy that she grew up in a farm and just played with and wanted to marry with him, basically. And that's where he felt the happiest. And I kind of saw that coming all along. She didn't want to be in the capital city. She didn't want to like have all these riches. And even when the most nobles, kind of like people came to ask for her, like her hand, and be a mistress with her or a wife or something, she didn't want it. She was not happy with them. The Majesty wanted to take her as a concubine. No, didn't want it, and that's when she actually cried out for help and returned back to the moon. There's a part where they talk about August 15th, which in Chinese is 8/7, so it's kind of like a celebration. I think there's some connection to that and the story as well. Apparently, this is a very classical tale that was told in this way, and the story itself was very interesting. From the beginning, the art itself kind of like makes you realize that you're in a magical place. It's a drawing, that kind of feeling, and overall, you get the sense of being in a storyline where you kind of expect the story to be a certain way, because this is apparently a very famous tale, right? And when the girls start growing out of a sudden, and then you start realizing, wow, this is not really a realistic story. It's a magical story. As she grew up from a bamboo, the boy that she liked, called her Little Bamboo, and a very cute nickname. And growing up with the bamboo cutter and the wife. The wife actually was one of my favorite characters. That she was very down to earth and just want to be in the kitchen the whole time to feel at home, and really connected with her daughter quite well for the most part. There was a part in the beginning when she was breastfeeding, Kaguya and Princess Kaguya, and it was just kind of endearing to have that mother to daughter connection. You can see that from the get go. While the father, kind of like for the most part, just didn't know what the daughter wanted. he thought he wanted her to be a real princess, and so gave her all these riches and all these kind of like thinking to make her feel happy. But in the end, did it make her happy? Well, not really. It caused a lot of stress. It caused a lot of like drift. And at the end, you just realize that she was not happy at all. And so, what's the moral of the story? I mean, to some degree, I believe it's that, right? That material things does not make sure necessarily make you happy. It's more about the heart and the connections that you have. At one point, she was like, I used to be a farmer girl with you. I used to kind of like play around with you. That made me really happy. And that scene when he was flying with Staysuma, I think that was his name, the boy, that she liked, and they were flying around. That was one of my favorite scenes for some reason. Even though it was a dream, quote unquote, it felt like magical. It felt really happy. And this is something that reminds us once again the simplicity of life. And sometimes it's not about chasing all this material stuff, but more about just finding true happiness in it all. So overall, enjoy this watch. Kind of surprised, and yeah, hope you like my quick review or reaction more so, not so much review. And if you want me to watch Wind Rises, actually that's the one I want to watch next. Now that I mentioned it, there's a few I have queued next, so I kind of want to watch Wind Rises next. And is it Porco Rosso? I have a list there in my cabinet. So yeah, that's it. Bye bye.